Hello, everyone, and welcome back. To the anime club with me and Break. Hello, Break. How are you this day, this fine day, this weekend, this week? How's your week been going?
Pain.
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 Pain? What's been going on? Why are we in pain here?
Well, I just finished Danganronpa and that stream killed me. All right,
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
just leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that. All right.
An 8 hour endurance stream. Yeah, that is wild. I don't think I've done anything more than I think the highest I've done is four, so I can't even fathom right now what being on that
Yeah,
level would be like. But
just double it and just be over there until like what was like 3 o'clock. My eyes were burning. I couldn't even see. And the thing is, the last game mode I had to do, I had to focus on what I was actually like seeing. So obviously that didn't go well. I was literally struggling. If you actually want to see me struggle, just watch towards the end of that stream. You'll see what's going on. Like that's the legit struggle that was happening there.
But it's good that you got to finish it. Like it's nice to be able to actually go through like a full game on stream and actually finish it. Like it feels good. It feels like
Yeah,
accomplished.
and not get hit with no DMCA strikes or nothing either. It's freaking beautiful.
Oh, is that bad? Does that happen? I guess since I don't game that much, I don't know. Can that get you DMCA strikes just playing games that maybe don't want to be played on
Well,
Twitch?
it's not necessarily the game itself, but it's like the audio that's in there. They want to try to claim it. So you got to watch what kind of games you play sometimes. Like
Mm.
one recommendation I got recently was from Watch Dogs to play Watch Dogs. But Watch Dogs 1 actually has like some songs you can't not play on stream because if you do, you're done. That's it.
Wow. That's like such a catch
So
22. It's like you can play the game, but on mute. Like what? That's so confusing.
don't
Um,
listen. All right.
What's up, everyone? What's up, Grace? What's up, Jadella? What's up, Quats? What's up, Andy? Thank you, one and all, for coming to the second episode ever of Anime Club. It's so two episodes is not like it's little, but I'm actually like really proud that this is like the second episode that we got this far.
For
Um,
being consistent.
Consistent, guys. You can trust us. We're very consistent. And today we were talking about Wotakoi, which is, we voted last stream to switch from Tokyo Mew to Wotakoi since it was a bit shorter. And I'm excited to get into it. But let me just read chat real quick.
Yeah, I see Grace is just like, yeah, I play on mute sometimes. Like, what's the problem? Oh, I stay up for hours. What's the problem?
It's so hard though. Like I tried to do that because I have like such a janky setup or whatever, but I when I play like my PS4, I connect it to like my computer monitor so it doesn't come have speakers. So I have to plug it into the controller. But sometimes that's really annoying. Like plug my headphones into the controller to even listen. But sometimes that's really annoying. But with like the games I play, like I'm playing Days Gone right now, and it's very hard because there's a lot of audio cues to like when things are happening. So like if like an enemy's near, like the music will start going dun 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 dun. So like I feel like some games are like impossible to do because there's just too many like audio cues. But
Well, apparently with Grace, she don't even need audio cues. All right.
she transcends the need for audio cues. Legendary.
So I got eyes, right? I can see everything. All right. I see that sucker coming a mile away.
I know it like the back of my hand. Um, Oh, also, I mean, I can play games for hours without even noticing. Yeah, I think that's true, but I always think like there's a difference for me, I guess, for playing like a game on stream versus playing it by myself for hours. Because I feel like I have to commentate, maybe read out dialogue out loud when I might read it in my head. It just gets really
Yeah.
tiring. Um,
Yeah, see, that's the thing too. I was reading everything, by the way, so I throw it out there when I'm playing. When you're playing Danganronpa, it's all that game. Well, that last trial you don't have to read much till towards the end, but still, I read every piece of what they're saying because you got to know what's going on. All right, you got
mhm.
to feel it. You got to start crying at the end. All right. Yeah.
And you put a lot of effort, like you do voices and everything. Like it's dedication. Like when you play. I know when
And
I
that was the
play.
third game in. That was the third
Oh
game in, by the
yeah,
way, too.
gosh. Yeah, you know what? A round of applause for Break. You just be like putting in so much work. Like listen, everyone, round of applause in chat. I remember when I played the KFC I Love You Colonel Sanders. It was really, really fun, but my mouth was like drying out like halfway in, just like doing like saying everything out loud. And I was like, "Ooh, gosh, okay, this is a
This is why we have a hydrate button, right?
that's what the hydrate buttons for y'all. I need to put one in because I don't think I have one. Um,
Like when's the next one though?
I don't know, you know, you got me. I'm the queen of being like, guys, let's play this, and then never again. Honestly, with Outlast finished, you know, that's one game under my
Yeah, you're
belt.
around plus for that. Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
around plus
Thank
for
you.
that.
I was hella disappointed in the ending. Y'all played me. Y'all didn't tell me it ended like that. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but let's just say
Look, you had to see it for yourself, all right? I was mad too.
crazy though, because everyone's like, "Oh, play Outlast," but no one. I never hear anyone talk about how the ending is like disappointing. People are like, "Oh, let's switch." Like, there's jump scares. Remember that? Like the jump scares. Like nobody talks about how it ends that way. Uh,
Hey, see, sometimes it's all about the journey and not necessarily the destination, you know?
True. That's fair. Oh, Jadella says Jay reading every note in Outlast. I did read every single note and I still didn't know what was going on. How does that work? I literally read the Wikipedia at the end. I was like, who? Who's that? What's that? Like I was like, who are these people? When did they do that? And like I didn't even play the game. So it didn't even work. I read the notes, but it didn't even help me with the plot. A mess. Um but yeah, so oh hey Andy, how are you? Okay, we're already in it. Andy says I'm simping for Hirotaka. Listen, Hirotaka Hive, I will be the president of. Y'all can join the
Oh,
fan club. He's so cute. Like, oh, he's so adorable, I think. And I also like before we really get in, because I want to like give a chance for people to like kind of flow in. Just like a couple things in regards to the anime. I really love that it's a romantic comedy about someone who's in my age range because I'm really
true.
yeah, I'm really big on romantic comedies and rom-coms, but they tend to be, especially a lot of the most like iconic ones tend to be about high schoolers. Um
That's
so
around that age.
yeah, which I get it because that's like such a sweet time to have like, you know, like a first romance or something. But you know, it's nice to be like, oh, these people are going through exactly what I'm going through. Like I'm a, you know, working professional that like still likes like has a childish, I guess, fun side because I still like games and anime and things like that. And so what do you think, Break? What did you
Oh,
feel about that?
I'm totally on board with that. Like that's not common you get to see in like anime, just in general. Really, they don't really have like those kind of like animes where the characters actually, you know, adults. They're not just in goddamn high school with all the goddamn time, so you can't truly. Well, at least at our age, you can't fully relate like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same thing. Whereas this actually, I kind of relate to it because again, I'm in that same bracket.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in there. All right, so
Yeah.
I think there's another reason, like that's part of the appeal to it that I like about the show. So this is why
Yeah.
the show's kind of goaded for me right now.
Yeah. And I love that the in like it's an older, well, I don't want to say older because I wouldn't even consider like 26 like old, but like it's older than like a high school. It's like an older romance that's like kind of has that high school innocence, which is nice to see because I think it's like this like kind of expectation that once you hit a certain age, you should know what you're doing in romance or like when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
relationships because you're this old already and you should have experience. So the fact that we kind of have like this dichotomy with Hirotaka and Narumi where like they're very childish sometimes, but like they're also very innocent with the way that they like, you know, are walking through this new relationship. And it's just very cute, I guess. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Annie though, you want to watch this anime, maybe realize how even more how lonely I am. Like, come on,
low key same. I was like when
don't say that. Don't say that.
Hirotaka and Narumi were being cute, I was like, oh, I need a boyfriend right now just to do this, like just to have these moments. And then
I don't
it
want to.
never speaks in.
I'm trying to reject these feelings. All right, I don't want to feel this, but I know it's there. All right, I know it's there.
Yeah. But also it's really funny because I was talking to my friend Jasmine yesterday and we were talking about what's also really funny, like going back on the age thing, is that like often like you'll go back to watch an anime that you watched maybe when you were like a teen or a kid, and then you realize like a lot of these characters that are supposed to be like older and wiser are like as old as you are now, like for me. And it's just like wait, I thought these people were like 46. Like, how are they? They're 26 to 30. That's like, it's really weird. So it's just
Yeah.
like nice that like,
So apparently we're supposed to be grandmasters right now.
right,
Okay.
exactly. We'd literally be the wise old sages, even though we're like, oh my god, it's crazy.
You
Um,
will find love in the ocean. Yeah.
but all right, yeah, I think we can jump in now. So I'm
I
gonna do
just
it.
find a BF at a con. It's an
How
old
dare you?
lady.
That's actually interesting. Well, I guess we can talk about it down the road, but because I have like a little blurb or like things I want to talk about after we recap every episode. Everything about this show is very cute, Andy. I agree. The opening's cute. The relationships are cute. As much as I think Narumi and Hirotaka are really cute, I also think Koyonagi and help me out with this one, break. Kurabak Bukuro.
Kamakura? Is what you're trying to
I don't know why his name gives me anxiety. It just makes me have a
say?
breakdown.
God.
Like, I don't know why. But yeah, I like their relationship a
Yeah,
lot
right.
too. I think they're really cute. All right. Yeah, there's like a little like, TikTok dance they have in the beginning, so that's really cute. All right, so let's get
Kind of want
started.
to learn it.
Me too. I was like, this should be a TikTok trend. Get on it, Gen Z. But yeah, it's really, really cute. So let's start off with the first episode. So we start off by meeting the main character, Narumi. She's like a 26-year-old working professional. In the first episode, we find out that she's starting a new job after leaving her last one. She wakes up, is late to work, so she's rushing to get to work. There, we meet Koyonagi, her coworker. So Koyonagi is basically giving her like this tour of the building, and as she's touring, she passes by two of her other coworkers, and she happens to recognize one of them. Hirotaka is actually a childhood friend of hers. So she's like, oh my god, what is he doing there? They stop and talk for a while, and it seems like she's trying to like hurry along the conversation before, I don't know, he says anything that she doesn't want to say. So she thinks she's in the clear. She invites him to dinner, but as she's leaving, he asks her, hey, are you going to Summer Comiket? Which for you, those of you guys who don't know, probably you know because they show it in a later episode. It's like a convention, basically, like a manga convention where you can buy manga and meet like the mangakas and things like that. So she's like, oh no, he's kind of outed that this is something I'm into. So that was like a moment right there. So moving on, we kind of go to them being at dinner that following night after work, and we find out that Narumi, she pretty much got dumped by her last boyfriend after her boyfriend found out that she was a yaoi fangirl. And that's also one of the reason why she left her last job, because she was like kind of just like it was hard seeing him after she dumping her. And then we also kind of
Yeah.
find out like Hirotaka and Narumi, like they know each other, and they're like otaku friends. So it's this kind of thing where,
Childhood friend.
yeah, childhood friends, and they kind of were able to bond because they both kind of like have like that otaku side to them. And so we kind of get this like kind of dichotomy between them, because Narumi, I guess because she was like kind of hurt in the past after somebody, her it was outed that she was otaku. She kind of has like this thing where she's like, I don't want anyone to know that I'm into this stuff, while Hirotaka's like, I don't really care. So I'm just gonna put in a pin in
That's
it
me.
there. Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a pin in the recap right there. So let's talk about this, because I think we all like anime here, or we all like, I know a lot of you guys are also like K-pop fans. So like, what is your kind of, how do you move when you come to a new place where maybe you'll be interacting with people a lot when it comes to them knowing that you're an anime fan? Is it something that you share right off the bat? Is it something that you only ask about or talk about when asked? Okay, you're like, it's hard to miss, buddy. It's hard to miss.
I be wearing that crap at work everywhere I go. Like, I mean, everybody knows I'm an anime nerd at this point. Like, it is what it is.
Mm. Now, was that like a way you always felt? Like back in school, for example, were you that open about like, hey, I'm the guy who likes anime, like in high
It's kind of
school?
ironic, see, since you bring that up, because I'm actually wearing a Dragon Ball Z shirt Dragon Ball Z back in the day when I was younger, it was hot. It was on fire.
Hmm.
And yeah, I had a lot of Dragon Ball Z shirts and a lot of like just stuff like that. And I was always wore them because it's one of my favorites. It's my favorite show. It's one of my favorite things. So between that, Pokemon, and other things like that, yeah, I was always a fan and always kind of expressed myself in that manner that they knew that this is what this kind of stuff I'm into. I
Hmm.
never really thought to really hide it, and I didn't really understand why people were hiding it like that because it's like it's still a form of entertainment. It is something that you enjoy, so why not rep it if you like it? Like I don't know. I never really fell into those type of like things like that. I still made friends and stuff too. It's not like I was some kind of social outcast because of it. It's just you just gotta be able to present yourself a certain way.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. And I kind of cast shame on my younger self because I definitely think in high school, it's not that I was ashamed of it, but definitely I wasn't like the one to talk about it right away. There's a kind of relatable part later on in this episode. Well, I'm just gonna get into it. So Narumi has a suspicion that her new co-worker Koyonagi may be an otaku, particularly because how she reacted when Hirotaka mentioned Summer Comiket. So there's this like whole little part where she's trying to figure out whether she may be into anime or not, and then she comes to realize that not only is she into anime, but she's a cosplayer that Narumi is actually a fan of, and they're able to bond over that. So I was kind of like that, where if I think somebody might like it, I'll like drop some hints, and then like, maybe it's like a thing, but like I would never be like the first one to come out saying it. And I
Is
think
that what it is?
um
Like like it's weird because I don't know if a lot of females is a thing actually really repping like anime like that. It's very rare that you see that, but there's a lot of anime fans. Like there's a lot of them out there. So it's like, but you'll never know. Some they be undercover. You never know.
well, okay, well, this is the thing. I won't speak for all females. I think I was very much like that in high school, but I think I was just like insecure in general because I didn't want to stand out too much in a bad way because I just didn't want to get picked on or anything like that. And so now, yeah, I'm definitely like, oh yes, have you watched this, that, and that? Like, I'll jump out because it's like it's something I spend a lot of time doing. So it's a big part of my personality. So it's like if you don't vibe with that and me talking about it, we might not vibe that much. Not saying that everyone who's I'm friends with has to love anime, but like you have to understand that this is a part of me, and if you're gonna pick on me, even though it's like, why would you be picking on me? I'm like damn near 30. Like calm down. Like. But if you're gonna like give me some aggression like that, then I don't want to be friends with you in the first place. But I don't think it's a female thing because I see a lot of and I follow a lot of girls on like Instagram who are like, I'm a nerd, like, be making Hunter x Hunter TikToks and stuff like that. Like they're very loud and proud about it. But I think maybe it's an age thing. Like maybe it's like you're
Maybe.
younger, so you don't want to stand it. And even then it might be a time thing because I think now it's safe to say anime is pretty cool to like. I don't know.
Yeah, like anime is cool. Everybody loves anime now. Everybody's all repping the anime squad and having all this merch and stuff too. So I mean, it's more popular than ever. So you would think you'd be seeing lot more of that. So I don't know.
Hmm.
It's just maybe where I go, I don't really see a lot of that. But it's not like I haven't seen it. Is all I'm saying.
Hmm.
Just I like to see more.
You heard that, ladies. Break would like to see more.
I can't wait a minute. Oh no, she don't sound right though. What are you doing?
My bad. I didn't really connect that until after the fact. I'm gonna jump in chat real quick. Jodello says, "Oh, I never tell people I work with that I'm into K-pop because I know they'll have an undertone of judgment and stuff." That's another interesting thing. Like, I think like a lot of people do have prejudices. I guess you would say prejudices about people who like anime and people who like K-pop. So I think a lot of times it's easier to let them get to know you on like a personal level first and then introduce it because it's really annoying when people have like these preconceived notions about who you are, what you like, how you act just because you tell them this like small thing about
Yeah.
yourself. Like it's very
They just
annoying.
take that little thing and just go a whole mile with it. It's just like, like this is not. This, it's like what's going on here?
It's like, whoa, wait, what? How do you already know
let's,
everything about me?
let's backtrack a little bit here, right?
Exactly. It's really annoying. And I think I was talking to a good friend of mine and he was talking about how as a guy, there's a lot of assumptions that he gets when he tells people he's a anime fan that he's just into like big boobies, like big booby schoolgirls, like, and that's it. So people are like, oh, you like hentai if he says he likes anime.
Oh,
So
whoa!
yeah,
Wait, what?
he's told me.
He's gonna jump all the way. Can we talk about ecchi first? Like, whoa! Holy crap!
He's told me he has situations where he was talking to a girl. I guess it happened multiple times. He was talking to a girl and he mentioned he was into anime, and then he could like see them physically like recoil in terms of like the how they kind of were like, I don't know. This is what he was saying. It could be one of those things that he didn't only say he was the anime fan. He said that he likes, I don't know, big booby furries or something like that, and they're like, whoa, like
Oh wow, that'd be a great conversation. I need to hear this conversation. Like, what's happening there? How do you jump to that all of a sudden?
like we need to hear the truth. But yeah, so it's hard. Andy says, when you're younger, there's more of a shame thing, and being more sorry, things kind of skipping. Okay, well, I'm just gonna skip to the next comment then. It's Andy says it's so it's so strange how both K-pop and anime have gotten more popular over the years.
Which is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I saw the gradual like incline of like anime, because I've watched anime all my life. So I mean, I've seen how this thing really starts to expand and grow, and I don't know. I know the internet helped a lot because the access to it that's the thing. Like the access to anime became so much broader, so you can get into so many different series and so many different shows, and that's why I think the internet in of itself really propelled anime to a different forefront. And then I guess when people started bringing up these shows, I guess with the conversations and forums and stuff like that, start to realize, wait a minute, there's a lot more people that are into this than you think it is. Like back in the old times when I was doing YouTube, I didn't realize there were so many like black otaku, black anime fans. Like I didn't realize there was so many of us that was like into this type of thing. But when I got into that community, it was like, yo, this is pretty cool because I'm a part of this thing too. So it's just interesting because I think it just kind of opens your eyes as again because of the internet, you see a lot more of this go on, and I think from that propulsion of elevation and also really good anime coming out too, because you also gotta give props to like the One Pieces, to the Naruto's, bless you,
thank you,
to freaking Bleach and all the popular shonen shows, Hunter x Hunter, all that stuff, and JoJo blowing up, Attack on Titan, like a lot of these shows that came through, and it was kind of they're easy accessible shows to get into. Some are anyway, some are like Death Note too. So like again, anime has so much, it's so broad, there's so many different genres, so many different things. It's literally an anime for literally anybody, and that could be a good thing or a bad thing because
some people
yeah.
yeah, and that's why I found it so crazy. Similar to how I find it crazy when people are just like, I don't like K-pop. I find it crazy when people are like, I don't like anime. Not that I have to force it or anyone like has to watch anime, but it's like you realize that there's so many genres and so many like styles and plots and things like that. So for you to just give like a blanket, I don't like any of that, it's very strange to me because I feel like you could at least find something you like. I don't know.
That just tells me that you never even attempted to really see what's out there for anime, because like I said, there's too many genres, too many shows, that there's got to be something that you might actually be into. You don't have to be a full-on anime fan, but I'm pretty sure at this point in time now too, with all the animes that are getting created, you're telling me there's not one you can't watch? Like,
exactly.
Come on.
Even if
I'm
it's
pretty
just
sure
like
K-pop's kind of like that too, where you can just like, because I'm not into K-pop to that extent. You're helping me a little bit, because I'm not gonna lie, the side tracks like kind of jump away from anime real quick, but I've been listening to Blackpink a little bit more, so I mean,
we got him, guys.
Yeah, look, the song's pretty nice. Some of the songs are pretty nice on there. So I was like, okay, this is not bad. And then I think their name is KDA, because I know they did the League of Legends stuff. And
oh yeah.
Yeah, I listened to their whole goddamn EP. Like that was actually pretty banging. I like it. So I don't know, I'm getting into it. But see, it took me a minute.
We got him. Yeah, and I feel like, I think there's like a good like middle ground, right? Like you don't have to be like an otaku and make anime your whole life or be like a K-pop stan, die hard stan and make it your whole life. But I feel like, sprinkle in a little bit in your playlists and stuff, it
It's
it's
definitely
good
in
for
there
your skin.
now. It's good for your skin. Is that why I'm clearing up right now? Oh my god.
Blackpink did that. Oh, you should probably know you're a Blink now, or that's what we're gonna refer to you as. That's their fandom name, Blinks.
Blinks.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know this.
you gotta know. You gotta
Well,
have the trivia ready to go.
I guess I'm in here, guys. Hi.
Oh, hi, Leanne. Hi, Andre. Thanks for coming through. I'm gonna jump back into the recap, and then we can finish episode 1 and move on to the episode 2
Yes, yes,
recap.
please do. We veered
Um,
off too much. That was my bad.
I'm still guys like spare me as I like figure out how I want to kind of move through this show. But essentially, so we go to Hirotaka and Narumi. They go to a bar after work, and while they're at the bar, the bartender mistakes them as a couple, and then Narumi just kind of goes on this like tangent where she's like, "Oh, we would never be a couple. We're just like otaku friends," and she even goes as far as to saying she would never want to date an otaku, which I think is kind of funny. And Hirotaka calls out her hypocrisy, like it's like, girl, you're an otaku, so what? Um, but on their way back from the bar, she kind of, is praising Hirotaka and being like, "Oh, I'm so happy that, you're by my side and that I met you." And then he kind of just like, is like, "Well, how about me?" And goes into like full romance mode and is like, "If we were like together, I would wait for you after work and we could go to, events together and things like that." So in a very business deal like fashion, they agree to start dating, and that's where we end the first episode. Um,
She freaking he threw the bait and she took it. That's what happened. That's the episode right there.
which is so funny because she was like, "No, me," and he were talking, "No, never, no," and then he's like, "I'll wait for you after work," and she was like, "Deal." I was like, "Okay, girl."
Yeah. You're not my type, but things you just said to me resonated inside my soul.
Oh yeah, that scene when she like lifts up his glasses and she's like, "You're not my type." That was
Yeah,
really really
exactly.
funny. But yeah, I thought it was really really cute. Again, like I think it's a cute, like that was a cute episode. They have cute chemistry. I thought there was a lot of relatableness, like Hirotaka like gaming during his lunch break. And Narumi when she that scene where she had to stay late from like at work because she was spending all day like looking at her news feed. Oh my god, I was like, wow, twins, because that's has happened to me so many times.
Oh
um
Lord.
but I thought it was like we kind of talked about this already, but I thought that like, that whole kind of debate about like, the otaku-ness and whether you should hide it or not was really, really interesting. Do you have any
Yeah.
other things or comments about episode 1 in particular?
That episode 1 has so much in it. I forgot that was like I didn't realize that it was all in one episode. And what's actually interesting, because I didn't bring this up yet to you, but like there's a difference. Like the way they structured the live action movie with how I'm seeing how these these first 4 episodes are. I feel like they did a really good job. Not like now that I'm like looking back at looking at the anime now because I haven't watched the anime, so it's my first time actually seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting what they picked out and decided to like adapt and how they made the story pretty much flow because there was some stuff that was quite different. I'll get more into it as we get further ahead because it's definitely deals more when it comes to Koyonagi and Kabakura's relationship. But yeah, I like how this first episode was. We did a lot, and we set up everything we needed to set up, and it's like it showcases that we're not really. It's not always just solely about that relationship, but how they deal with each other within the relationship is
Mm-hmm.
what we're actually getting. Not necessarily them just trying to get to the point where, hey, I like you, and then they go out and that's like the end of the story. Like, no, we're seeing like the whole progression of how they're actually going to be together and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I like this. I like this a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, that's definitely something I noticed. Like usually in like your typical, especially high school romance, it's like this like confession moment, even as business like as it was, would be like at episode 12, not in episode 1. So it's interesting that we're gonna actually see how they like manage to maneuver through the relationship as opposed to them like admitting they like each other or whatever. Hey
Like one of
Barbie.
my things that's scaring me, by the way, I just want to throw this out here. I don't know how it ends, I'm kind of terrified because if we're doing it like this, what if they don't end up together at the end of this?
Stop.
Like, what if it's just like
Don't make me cry.
what? I'm just throwing it out there. Like, what if it's like something tragic happens or something all of a sudden? Like, it becomes a funny rom com anime, and then it gets real serious. Like, the last 3 episodes, all of a sudden, like freaking Hiro Taka dies, or I'm
Yeah,
speculating, right?
imagine it gets that extreme. Oh my god. Like what? That'd be the best bait and switch ever because I did not
Hey,
expect it to be that intense.
kind of is love is hard for an otaku,
Oh my
right?
god.
Love is
Imagine that.
hard for an otaku. Think about that, right?
All
You can't
right.
have love. It's hard. So he has to go. Yeah.
The bets are in then. Break thinks that Hirotaka's gonna die at the end. Anyone else? Anyone else want to make your guesses? Um, so as somebody who doesn't have Prime, where can I watch this? Oof, good question. So I do have Prime, so that's
Hmm.
where I'm watching. I would think that there's resources. Dun, 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 dun. But I'm not, I'm such a boomer when it comes to that. So I don't know.
And let's see, how many people in here? Yeah. Let me give you all a a quick site, all right? But just know what you need to do. Make sure you have an ad block on because they got ads on that thing. Make sure you have your firewall's good, all right? Because there's things to be coming through there. But there's a way you can watch the show. You just type in go anime. That's all I'll say. I don't support it, all right? Don't do this. Support your illegal streaming sites, all right? You hear this? You hear these guys? All right?
FBI, open up.
Oh no!
Yeah, and I
But
think
there's ways. There's ways. Just look around. Just watch anime online. That's all you gotta do is like on the Google browser. Just put that. You'll see.
well, and I think that's a good point though, Andre. I think next time we'll try to make sure, like for the next one we pick, we consider like, the accessibility of some of these shows. Because I mean, I thought this was a really popular show. Like obviously it wasn't like huge, but I heard of it, to some extent before I heard it. I mean, before I watched it. So I thought maybe that would make it a bit easy, more accessible. But I guess, Amazon was like, Jeff Bezos was like, give me that. Give me your money. So it doesn't really.
That does sound like him. That does sound like him. Yeah.
Bezos was not trying. He wants all the coin. So yeah, that was episode 1. And somebody mentioned when Hiro Taka said, "I'd level up with you whenever you want." Yes, that was very much a I need to be in a relationship right now moment because I need somebody with that energy right now. So we're here for Hiro Taka. We stand him. And don't get me wrong, Narumi is really cute too. I'm just whipped for Hirotaka. All right, so episode 2 opens with the two are dating, but Narumi is kind of avoiding Hirotaka because she finds it really, really awkward and she doesn't really know how to act. So Koyonagi and Narumi are talking at her desk, and Koyonagi's like, you gotta go talk to him because he's gonna get the wrong idea and think you hate him or something like that. Meanwhile, Kabakura, and Kabuwa, so hard for me. Kabakura and Hirotaka are also talking at his desk, and Hirotaka, mentions that Narumi seems to be avoiding him, and Kabakura is like, you should go talk to her because it's going to start affecting your work. So they head over to Narumi's desk, and at the moment, Narumi and Koyonagi are chatting, and Koyonagi says, well, you know what? Kabakura is more my type anyway. So what she doesn't know is that when she's saying this, Kabakura and Hirotaka are right behind her. So she basically admitted that another man is her type in front of her boyfriend. Ouch. Yeah. Very awkward.
Burned. All right. Like, dang. Like,
Burn.
how you say that? How you gonna sit there and say that in front of my face? Like,
Exactly. Like I was like, come on, girl. Like, don't do this. So like, but Koyonagi moves fast and she's like, oh no. She didn't mean it like that. She's just scared. I'll talk to her. But then Kabakura is like, no, you need to let them handle this on their own, butt out. And so they kind of start butting heads. And then we learn that they know each other from, high school. And they were both into volleyball. So Narumi tries to run away, but Hirotaka catches her and basically like apologizes, for coming off as scary. And he's like, well, it seemed like we were closer as friends. So I kind of apologize for ever confessing to you, admitting that I liked you. And then there's like this funny moment where they're they're like, "Did you actually say that? Like, when did you actually confess?" Which was really cute. But
That's
then
like one
she
of his quirks actually I like about him because it's like he doesn't really he thinks he says some stuff, but he actually never said it. So when he brings it up and he's like, "Oh wait."
which is why we talk I love like this is gonna sound so toxic, but I love when like people have trouble expressing their feelings. Like characters like that. Characters like that. Like kind of washboard characters like Brick Wall that seem emotionless, but they like have their own way of like conveying I don't know. I'm just here at Takahai. Listen, I love him. But yeah, so she hugs Hirotaka. Narumi hugs Hirotaka, tells him that like he shouldn't say that, and that she was just like really embarrassed, and that's why she was running away. And then he mentions that he doesn't mind that she said that. He just was worried that she wasn't into him anymore. So like again, we see this really like cute, innocent like relationship. Like the way that she was avoiding them like was giving me like, two people in the fourth grade just started dating and they don't know what that even means. So they're like, you're like, that's my boyfriend, but you don't even talk to him all day because you're nervous.
Like or at all.
Yeah, exactly. You don't do anything, but that's your boyfriend. You guys hold hands at the swings, and that's like everyone in the school is like,
Oh.
she's like, I'm gonna give him a hug at the end of the day, and everyone's like, oh my god, it's about to get juicy.
Progress.
So it was really really cute. But I think it's interesting because I think for them a lot of the awkwardness is like you were just they were besties for the longest time, and now it's like, oh okay, now we're in a relationship. Do I act different? Like how does that work?
I mean, it is one of those things. Unfortunately, I can actually relate to this. So I know how that can be.
Mm-hmm.
But so I got a little pet peeve too actually about the elevators instead of the stairs. Like you try to escape. Like, what are you doing? The comments.
Just gonna yeah.
You can't escape. You can't escape. It's time to talk, right?
She is such a spaz. I love her.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after work the next day, they have this whole plot about Narumi wants to go to a bookstore, or they want to hang out after school to get some drinks, or not after school. Oh, see, I'm just messing like my slice of life lingo up. They want to hang out after work to get some drinks, but Narumi wants to go to a bookstore to pick up a new copy of some manga, and so that's what they end up doing before drinks. We learn that Kabakura is also an otaku.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't they just go to the bookstore and then that was like it because they couldn't even do it?
Oh yeah. At the end, they spent too long at the bookstore, so they ended up just not even going to get drinks, which was really funny because Hirotaka was like, "I'm ready for some drinks," and they're like, "That's cute. Goodbye." Like I was like, "Oh, poor him."
Manga to read now. Okay?
But yeah, but during that whole bookstore fiasco, we learned that Kabakura is also like a otaku, but he low-key hides it. Koyonagi and Narumi buy some BL manga together, and there's this really, really like heartfelt moment where Narumi talks about being happy to finally have like an otaku friend that she can like do this kind of stuff with. And like, can we all just talk about like what was the first time where you like met somebody who also had like, either like an interest in anime or something that you thought was really, really niche, like how that felt and like, I guess how that made you feel. Cause I think I have like a couple examples. Like I think going to like my first con was definitely like one of like the big moments where it's like, everyone here knows what like what Naruto is and like what Fruits Baskets is. Like it's crazy. Like it's just such a good feeling. And so like when she talked about that, I was like, yeah, it is really nice to have like friends who you can just like talk about this thing that you want to blab about without getting like, okay, girl, I don't even know what that is. Like that kind of look.
This is part of the reason why I missed cons because like I made friends there because there was a lot of just because everybody there likes the same stuff you like, so it makes it so much easier just to come up to somebody and start talking to them and everything because you know that they're we share the same interests. Like it's easier to know these type of things, and it just I don't know. It's the atmosphere for it. It just I don't know. My first comment ever when I went over there, I felt like I was in heaven. All right, I was like I was ascended. I was like, bro, this is me. Like this is my people in here, right?
Yeah, it feels really good. I think
So
a lot of people can probably relate in the chat to like K-pop too, because I think K-pop was a little different for me. Well, I did have friends that liked it in like school, but like a lot of them, I was the one who introduced them to it. So for a while, it was just like this thing that I would only talk about with my sister and stuff. And like just finding somebody that you can literally like talk to in real life, because obviously online fans is great, but like, you know, like, go to lunch with and like just talk about like the newest K-pop releases or whatever. Like that's just so like it's a moment. So, you know, I felt really
yeah,
happy for her.
like it's like between that one for the whole con thing, and then when I first got into the anime community, like I said, there was a lot of black people that were into anime, like I am and everything, and then you know made friends and
Hmm.
shoot, I mean, we even ran into that, like so it's like the
True.
whole YouTube thing. So it's just like again, it's another nice feeling. It's freaking awesome. So
Yeah.
it's
Um,
always good to have those people that have the shared interests. But god
honestly.
dang, I know what you're talking about. By the way, Andrew, I was looking at the comments.
Oh,
He's like, you don't want to ruin their friendship if you try to like date that friend, because that's that thing that happens. Because like, how much do you care about that friend, right? Like, you really care about the friend, you want to keep them in your life. Like, do you really want to date them and potentially ruin all that? Because that can
hmm.
happen. That's the
Yeah.
thing you gotta watch out for.
Yeah. And it's really awkward because I think a lot of people, you know, like this, the idea is like, oh, but we can just try it out and then like go back to being friends. But sometimes that's not as an easy as a transition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, Andy says it was a relief. Like, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only weirdo. Oh, yeah, honestly. Kind of what you were
I
saying.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like what you were saying about the black anime community. I felt that way for like the black cosplay community because when I first started
Oh yeah.
cosplaying, there was not a lot of prominent black cosplayers. So, as much as I knew like I wasn't doing anything wrong, there was a part of me that I don't even want to say felt embarrassed, but felt really scared because I knew people would see me cosplay like an anime character and be like, why is this black girl like she's humiliating herself? How embarrassing cosplaying this like light skinned Japanese character, like you look so dumb. And so I was really, really, you know, scared, like just like having somebody who maybe was doing it and maybe I saw wasn't getting hit. Because a lot of time I would see it, unfortunately, it would be
Yeah.
somebody making fun of them. So it was like, you know, when I found like a community of people who like were cosplaying and like were like not even only black, but just like darker skin in general, maybe didn't look like one for the character. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Like even if somebody does have something to say, they're like the loser, not me, because why are you hating on somebody just following their passion?
Wanting to live their life, all right? Like, what's the problem here? Like, they ain't bothering
Exactly.
you, so what's the problem?
Exactly. People need hashtag mind your business 2021.
I
Um
know, right? Let's get that trending, boys, boys and girls.
Andre says, I need to go to a con, but I'm broke. Yeah, it's a struggle. There's like a couple like videos that I used, especially in my early con days, and like how to save money going to cons. I know one of the things I always try to do is volunteer, but
Save money.
yeah, save money that then you just spend in the dealer's room anyway, so it's not you just transferred it to another way.
It's
Yeah.
like you always start off with that budget, right? You're like, I'm gonna spend this much, and then you see this thing you want to get, and then you see this other thing you want to get, and then you look at your bank account, and you're like, ooh, I don't know if I can do this, but you start doing it anyway. Just
Exactly. And then you just decide to not look at your bank account because you can't handle that pain. You're just like, you know what? For now it's fine. I'll look at it at the one end of the week.
it's
Jadella
just so
says,
hard.
yeah, I know. And it's just like because you're like, well, I'm on vacation, so I can do what I want, right?
Exactly, exactly.
You start telling those lies and it's all downhill from there. Um, Jadella says, first year of high school, grade eight and seven, or seven and eight in Australia, was definitely the best moments of my life because I found some friends who could listen to me share my interest in anime. Yeah, that's always like such a good like moment. And I know like
Yeah.
sometimes there's like anime clubs and stuff like that in some schools or like in communities, which can be helpful. Grace said my friends and I in high school made an anime club. That's so cute.
Hey, okay, nice.
We basically just watched anime on a projector during lunch, you know?
Yeah.
That's more
Hey,
than
that's the
my
best
club did.
goddamn
Yeah,
club.
I was
Like,
gonna
come on.
say. Um, Barbie says, true. There are not a lot of black anime fans. I'm happy I found black people who like anime like me. Yeah. And it's always, and some people will be like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, why does it matter? You're black or whatever, or whatever. But I feel like it's just like knowing that, like, because there's like these weird like stereotypes like black people can't do certain things or it's not like it's weird if a black person does a certain thing so you get caught up in
Yeah.
that a lot of the time. Like people think that we only can like, watch basketball and like hip hop or whatever, which those things are dope
We all we
things.
do is sports and rap. All right.
Exactly. Nothing else. You can't enjoy anything else. So a lot, yeah. Um yeah, so yeah, that was just a really cute episode. I think that wraps up episode 3. Oh yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Right.
yeah, or 2. We're only on
Oh,
2.
like,
Oh god. Yeah, so at the end they go home. They end up going home and tell it to the bar. So yes.
one
So
thing we forgot to mention, by the way, is Toyonagi is like a famous cosplayer person, actually. So.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Narumi was actually a fan, so they kind of bonded over that. Yeah, so that was cute. And I was just like, "Oh my god." Like, yes, cosplay representation. Like I'm glad that they have like a cosplayer in the group. But yeah, here I had a note and I was like, "What do you think about the fact that like Kurabaka, Kurapika, Kura,
Kurabaka.
Kurabuku?" I'm bad. No,
Let's go. You
no, I think it's trash because this is probably somebody's name in real life that I'm butchering. What is it? Kabakura?
Don't ever run into a Kabakura. Don't ever run into a
Kabakura.
Kabakura.
Okay. Kabakura, he was very like hush about it. Like he's very low key about his otaku side, which I thought was interesting. Because there are people like that who may be big fans, but they're like, you don't want to know. All right. Finally, episode 3. We're trumping along. So this kind of starts with them going to Summer Comic Cat. Narumi's there to sell some of her BL manga, and Hirotaka tags along to kind of help her run her table. While they're there, they find that Koyanagi and
Kabakura?
Kubakara, why is this tongue just really Kabakura? Kabakura. Kabakura. Why? Just be Kabakura. Okay, Kabakura. 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 Okay, let's go.
I can't. I'm killing right now.
Why am I so trash? I'm gonna have to. Oh yeah. Sorry. Koyonagi is she gender bends in her cosplay, which is very
true. I forgot.
which is really awesome. Grace just made that comment, so just threw it as a thing.
Chupacabra.
Stop, because now I'm gonna actually say that. No.
It's not now. It's Taro Chupacabra. Let's go.
No. Guys, now you're throwing me off. Yeah. So you know who and Koyanagi were there too. She was cosplaying. Very cute moment. I think it was really cute how he was helping her. And then there's like one point where she leaves him at the table and she like rushes back. So into the meat of the episode, Hirotaka invites Narumi over for drinks. So this is the big deal. She's going to his house for drinks. She hasn't been there, She's like, what's going to happen? Is it going to be like a bow chicka wow wow moment? Or are we just like keeping it cute?
Talking about her underwear color.
That was so... Is it... Okay, am I just the only one that thinks that's relatable? Like, not... Like, because it was like, am I wearing cute? Is it cute under there or is it not? Because that kind of depends how this wants to go. I was like, oh my god, the fact that they put that in there is so relatable. But I thought that was so funny. Yeah, so she's super nervous. She doesn't know what's gonna happen. So turns out like, they're like, playing around. They have this like one moment where he like, reaches over to get like the Wii controllers and she thinks he's going in for a kiss. And she's like, oh, my underwear's pink. Perhaps this could happen. I don't know. Like she remembers. But then to her surprise, Koyanagi and Kabakura, they, she hears a knock at the door and he invited them too. So it wasn't like the bow chicka wow wow moment that she thought it was. It was like him having like...
I mean, I could understand because it's like he didn't say anything to her that more people are gonna come over. He's just like, hey, you want to come by?
That's true.
And it's like he does this stuff all the time. Like I said, he doesn't say anything. He thinks he says it.
It's so cute though.
But see, she got that whole misunderstanding though. It was kind of funny that he went for the freaking Wii remote and he's like, do you want to play the Wii? Like,
because he reaches over like this to get the Wii remote. Like I was like, what's going on? It was so weird.
I have no idea.
It was so
I thought it was about
weird.
to happen. All right, I was like, all right, I'm already down. Let's go. I love this relationship.
It was so cute. But yeah, it was not Jardello keeping a counter of how many times I mispronounced his name. I'll call him the
Oh
one that
no,
shall not be named. Um but
just
yeah,
call him
so they come
Taro.
over and there's this really cute moment like where like he's like, they're just Koyanagi and Kubakura are like playing Wii and he's like, "Wow, like I've never had this many people over to like play like my Wii before." And there's even this point where like she talks about, I think Narumi like mentioned something about like friends when they're younger, and he was like, "I didn't have any friends when I was younger, so don't know what that means." And then she's kind of awkward for it, so like it's this kind of like, oh, it's like nice that he has like a group of friends that he can hang out with. So I that kind of made me kind of sad, but it kind of like highlighted this kind of dichotomy of like because Narumi, he kind of even mentions that Narumi, she like had other interests and she had a lot of friends and people around her. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know about Hirotaka, but we know that she's had past boyfriends, so it's kind of like otaku, where they're a big fan of like this thing, and it also may come with some isolation where they might not have a lot of friends because they're really into this thing, while there's other otakus who it's a big part of their life, but then they have under other interests. So I know
for sure.
sometimes when people talk about, and like I said, when I was in high school I didn't make it a big thing, but when people talk about like anime, liking anime got them like straight up bullied, or like made people isolate themselves from it, I feel really sympathetic, but then it's also, I feel bad because it's not something I relate to, because I was able to connect with
Yeah,
people on other levels. But it kind of makes me wish, like, I don't know, I was there for them, because I was like, I would have been your anime friend or whatever, not even in like a
I know,
condescending
right?
way, but it's like, I mean, I was there being a coward. I couldn't even like admit it in some cases unless like I knew that person wasn't gonna like do anything weird. But yeah, I don't know. What you think about that like whole
Yeah,
thing?
because I mean, again, it kind of goes back to that whole thing where he's just like, I mean, you also gotta remember too, it's probably based off his personality as to why it probably, he didn't get a lot of friends like that
Mm-hmm.
either, because he does kind of keep himself to himself for the most part. That could be one of the things. Whereas, as you see, Narumi, he's very outgoing. So obviously, of course, they're also not like the same type of otaku too. But there's different types of otakus that that are here, which is why they have two different actual interests of things, but they
Yeah.
can still relate to each other. So there's also that too that kind of come into play, and I guess like I said, it all depends on what you actually like and what you're actually dealing with. So it does kind of, I guess he's what the stuff he was into didn't really work for him,
Yeah.
and of course being younger and all that, like you're just talking about with your high school experience and everything, it's just like you try to hide that kind of thing, or he probably wasn't hiding it, but
Yeah. Yeah, because
again,
he doesn't the type.
they probably already saw him as like this weirdo kid, like from the get go. He's probably sitting there by himself, not saying nothing, and it's a very unfortunate but realistic like take, because I know there are people that feel that same way or have been through that. Like I haven't been through it though, so I don't know how that is, because there
Mm-hmm.
was other interests and things that I am into, so I can still make friends in that capacity and still hang out and all that stuff. But I feel for those. I feel for people that have had those type of childhoods and
Mm-hmm.
growing up feeling the way they feel like that, because it's not right. Like I'll be your friend, all right? Like don't do that.
Mm. Oh, Andre said, I've said that you weren't bullied for liking anime, you were bullied because you bite people. Yeah, there's a lot of like memes like that on Twitter where it's like a lot of people say they were bullied for liking anime, but it might have been like another thing. And kind of like what you said, it might have been like a mixture of maybe he was otaku, maybe he just didn't have like he was more of an introvert and a standoff personality that kind of factored into that. Everyone's saying just call him Kuda. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. Because I'm tired of struggling out in these anime streets. Um, so yeah,
But it's
so
great. It's great
I
though.
can't go through like I'm gonna be
Why is
calling him
anyone clipping these moments? Why are anyone clipping these moments? All right.
so chupacabra. No, just kidding. So imagine. So essentially, they're chilling. Hirotaka's about to go take a shower, and they're like, we want to find his porn stash, essentially, like his hentai
Oh yeah.
stash. So Koyonagi and Narumi, they try to look for it, but instead Narumi finds like an old box of his toys, where she notices like these old what I think are battle pencils. So she brings out these two sticks, and there's another manga I was reading where they had a similar toy and they called them battle pencils. So I think that's what like they're called. So it's like battle
Yeah.
pencils. And then so he remembers that there was like a moment because earlier in that episode that I kind of skipped mentioning, she talks about how they've been friends for so long and she doesn't remember how like they met. So he kind of fast forwarding back to this part, he kind of says, "Oh, this is how we met. Remember? Because you had really strong battle pencils, but you wanted the ones with cute characters, so you traded like these weak cute characters." Like a fool. No, he doesn't call her a fool, but like you traded it, and that's kind of like how we became friends. And so he was basically like, you don't remember, do you? And then he like is like, oh, I can understand that you didn't remember because you had so much friends and like hobbies growing up that like maybe that's just like a distant memory. So she kind of is like, upset at herself because she's like, wow, he remembered this important part, but I didn't remember. And so she's like, it's okay for you to be upset at me, like for not remembering, like you're allowed to get mad. In fact, you can hit me, punch me in the face, actually. And I was like, all right, calm down.
I was like, why are we going to violence? Why are we choosing violence right now? Like,
she
whoa.
she woke up and chose violence, and I was like, girl. But then he's like, okay, bet, and she's like, wait, hold on, this is
All right,
not.
so hold on. You guess you want to do this? I mean, I could be kind of frail though.
She was like,
Like,
just use 50% of your strength, please. I'm trying to live. And I'm like, girl, why did you even offer it? But in true, like, cool prince fashion, he doesn't actually hit her, but instead he kisses her. And I was like, and I had to resurrect
beautiful,
myself. It was really bone apple
beautiful.
teeth. Like, it was
Yeah.
so cute. Like, oh my God. And then, yeah, so they just have a moment that they're really, really shy. And I don't know, it's very cute. I don't know. It was just
She
really
she
cute.
wasn't she didn't see it coming, right? She didn't see it coming. That's all.
Hmm.
It
And then
was nice.
we had this really cute moment at the end with Koyanagi and Kuda where they like go after like kind of having that moment. They go out into the living room and like Koyanagi is like laying on Kubakura's like shoulder and he's like, shh, be quiet. And I'm just like, I love that couple too. Like when they have
Yes.
like sentimental moments, I
When
like.
they have those moments, like when they're not fighting with each other,
Hmm.
it's really nice because, like I said, they be going at it like holy crap, right? I was surprised they ain't throwing hands at each other, right?
Yeah,
But that was a
right. A
nice moment.
peaceful moment. But yeah, I literally like
Also, yeah,
backwards.
who said this? With yeah, it was Andy with the couple necklaces, like Kawakura. Yeah, I was like, yes, Korean not get like that was nice.
And then when he gets shy and like puts it in his like,
Yeah, he's like,
I stand
it's not
too
a big
hard.
deal.
Exactly. Oh, they're so cute. They're like a tsundere couple because you don't really. Oh my God, they're so adorable. It really hurt me. I was like, I need to get married ASAP because I need to do this with somebody, even if it's fake, like in like a K drama, like you fake it. Like it's oh my God. Oh yeah. So some funny moments that I remember was so at one point when they're looking for Hirotaka's porn stash, they Norumi sees that he has these figures all lined up and they're well endowed. And she's like, wow, I'm more on the flat chested side. And then so like she
Oh
turns
yeah.
them all around. I was like, that's really cute.
I'm like, really now? Like, come on, they're just figures. Come on.
Happen though. Let's travel back. A crush or maybe a significant other had like a I don't know, even if it was a 2D waifu or husband tone, you were kind of hating. You were like, all right, they ain't even that. They ain't even all that. Like, it doesn't even matter. I don't know.
No, not really. No, like I mean, like usually the case like comes in with like real people, like real like actors or something like that. They
Hmm.
have like some kind of crush on that thing. Like I mean, I don't, it's a goddamn inanimate object. Like,
Still,
oh,
all her,
oh,
all her
wait a
figures,
minute.
all his figures should look exactly like her. Okay, I'm just kidding.
Understandable. All right, let me just like chop off the breast then real quick. Right?
That's so scary. Oh my God. Um,
Just make it worse.
yeah, it's like this didn't happen the way. So we finally made it to episode 4. Oh, did you have any additional comments you wanted to say about episode 3 first?
Episode 3. cute AF, right?
Cute AF. You heard it here first. But yeah, yeah, she's so extra, but I love her. So episode 4 opens with Narumi and Hirotaka kind of crying over Sailor Moon, which was cute. They had like a just kind of like a nostalgia moment. And so it kind of
But why are we crying over Sailor Moon though? Like,
because
can I
it's
ask that question? Like, why?
beautiful. I think. Well, the thing is, I cry over anything that like is like a positive message, about like strength and things like that. But I think like I don't know. Have you ever like maybe like heard a song that you listened to a lot when you were like in I don't know 6th grade, and then all the fun positive memories start flowing back from 6th grade, and then you're like, wow, that
Oh,
was such a beautiful time in my life, and then you start.
oh yeah, okay. So is that what it was? Because I mean,
I
okay,
think.
if that's the case, then all right, maybe. I mean, I ain't crying. Okay, I ain't crying, but I'm like, yeah, that's a good memory. Like, if, that little warm, fuzzy feeling in your tum, like, that's when you're feeling it. That's when you're like, oh, that's a beautiful time at that time, right? I remember the time when I was that age and just first
Yeah.
experiencing this. It's beautiful, right? Like, Death Note was like one of those things for me. Like
That
going
that's
back
gonna
to
make you
those
cry.
like openings.
Yeah, yeah, that's a
Look, all right.
when he eats the potato chip, you're like, no, it's bringing me back.
You're stupid. I can't.
But no, I
That
mean,
was such a beautiful moment. What you mean?
that part that touched 1,000 people. But yeah, yeah, I think it's just I mean, that's how I interpreted it, like a nostalgia thing, because I don't really think of anything that would have made me cry. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, maybe I don't have that type of feeling for Sailor Moon. That's why I couldn't connect like that. Maybe that's why I had to ask. So I'm like,
that's
is there
fair.
moments in there that you're just gonna cry
Yeah,
all of a
that's what
sudden?
I'm saying.
Because I
Not
did watch the dub, and the dub didn't really, it didn't translate it properly too. That's the other thing. So, but
That's
go on.
fair. Yeah, I would say for me it was probably a nostalgia thing because there's a lot of things that like I think like if I just saw or heard I would cry because of nostalgia. But maybe somebody probably has a better example than me because I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. And she was crying and it looked like Sailor Moon was transforming. So I was like, what's so like the corner clip they showed? I was like, okay. Um, but yeah, so then they get into the fact that Narumi is showing a picture of her and somebody in cosplay, and it's Hirotaka in crossplay. And then so they're like, oh, like it's such a good, like he looks so cute and stuff like that. And then Koyonaki shows a picture of her and Kabakura kissing, which was like I thought, well, that was so cute. Oh
You're like,
God.
what? Wait a minute.
Yeah, he got embarrassed, which was so cute. Um, but then we get into like kind of the meat of the main plot of the story, and so Koyonagi and Kabakura get into a fight because she wants him to cosplay and he doesn't want to do that. And so they kind of have this back and forth where he's like, I don't want to do it because it's embarrassing, and then she kind of is like, you're a flop, like what kind of otaku doesn't want to cosplay? And then he says, it's embarrassing that you even cosplay. And then she's like, it doesn't matter because being a otaku is already embarrassing. And I was like, she's low-key dragging them both. I was like, okay. And then
But she also hockey spitting, right?
yeah, I was kind of like, oh, perhaps there were points made. And she also kind of calls him a coward because she's like, well, you're an otaku who tries to like hide it, and act like he's normal, but like secretly you're like, you like otaku things, so that makes you like a coward. And then he says it's embarrassed, like people who don't care and do too much are embarrassing, and it's not that he's trying to hide it, it's just that he enjoys it in moderation. And he says like otakus who do too much, like she does, they give otakus a bad name in front of normies, like normal people. So what did you think about that idea? That there's otakus who make it embarrassing to be an otaku?
I mean, I think that's part of where the stigma comes from, right? Like you have those people that are just real extra, right? Like they
Mm-hmm.
just they be doing everything, and it's just like you that then associate you with how they act. And you're like, oh, that's all of them. Then basically, you don't want to be an otaku, like especially specifically the otaku title. Like you don't necessarily want to have that on
Mm-hmm.
you because there's that stigma that's there. So I mean, it sucks because it's like that's not everybody, and you shouldn't judge everyone based off of a few people's actions because that's
Hmm.
not how things work. That's not how things go. You
Exactly.
should never have that type of narrow mindset.
Exactly. I fully agree. And it's like, if you really think about it, like, yes, another anime fan versus me, we might have a lot in common because we watch the same shows or maybe have the same interests in the anime realm. But like outside of that, we might be completely different. So like trying to judge my character off of the way you saw somebody else who watches anime acts is like really, silly. And I feel like it's not really giving people the like benefit of the doubt or their a chance for themselves to kind of show how they are. And that actually happens. I thought this would be super relatable for a lot of the K-pop fans in the chat because that happens a lot in K-pop. Like the K-pop fandom in general gets a really toxic rep because there's a lot of K-pop fans that will just run rampant on places like Twitter and Instagram and be like, your dog just died. That's cute, but Stan Blackpink, it's like so everyone's like, oh, like K-pop fans are this,
It's just
K-pop
time
fans
for
are
the
that.
fan cams, right?
Exactly. Like,
I've seen a lot of
oh,
those.
like your bike broke. Oh, who cares? Like, stream this fan cam. And so a lot of people are just like, they have this really negative opinion thing of like K-pop. And that's what's happened to me actually. I think more than negative anime stereotypes, or maybe some, I don't know. I usually ignore them. I've gotten a lot of like weird stares when people find out I was like super into K-pop and stuff like that. So I mean it hasn't really made me want to like keep it a secret, especially now that I'm just like grown up and I'm like, I'm just gonna like what I like. But it's like, interesting. Like what you like.
That's queen status right there. Queen status, all right.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Andy says both sides when extreme are valid, to be honest. Huh, that's really interesting. So
Hmm.
people who overdo it are lame, but then people who try to act like it's a sin to ever let anyone know. They're like, I
Gotta
must
stay in
not
my cave, all right, forever.
I can't let them know I like Naruto. Like they're like, oh, okay.
Those are my precious.
Like they're just like, oh, yeah, I agree. And I guess like maybe there's like a point that Kabakura, I'm getting better, has like about like how sometimes it's just easier to hide it because people have those preconceived notions. But like, I feel like there shouldn't be a reason for anyone to like hide it, I
Yeah,
guess. Yeah.
let
Um,
it all out. Just don't go crazy though, all
Exactly.
right?
And don't shove it down people's throat if they're not interested. That's another big thing that I
Yeah.
feel like is not talked about enough. This happens somewhat in K-pop, I think. Like people just being like, you must stand this, you have to watch this, you have to try this. I think that's when I can kind of understand where Kubakura is coming from because there
Yeah.
are some people who I'm like, I like to introduce K-pop to people. Like that's like one of my favorite pastimes. But if I feel like they're not clicking, shoving it down their throat, like people who do that, even when somebody like expresses like, it's not really my thing. I think that can get obnoxious. And same
Yeah.
thing with anime titles.
See, like I'm kind of starting to get into it, and it's because of you. But you never like try to force it down my throat or anything. You're just like, oh, this. No, you can listen to this. Like, all right, just a little bit here and there, little sprinkles, like,
Little does he
like
know
with
I
your
mind
hands, all
control him.
right?
Little does he know I
Oh
implanted a
no,
mind control chip into his brain. Um, oh,
is that why I'm here right now? Oh
he wouldn't even be on this show if it wasn't for the mind control chip. Barbie says, true, not me. I'm never on Twitter for the K-pop fan cams. Yes, I love anime and K-pop, but I'm not gonna stop loving it. Yes, that is the way to go. Not just okay, they're talking about sasaengs, but fans who are over the top winning idols. So this is a great learning point for break. So sasaengs are like in K-pop are fans that are very like extreme to the point that they even harm like their like fave in the process of like trying to
no. What?
overstand. Yeah, so they're very controlling. There has been sasaengs that like you know actually have, what are some good examples, like there was one I would call a sasaeng who like sent a bloody, oh, I don't want to talk about that, but they like follow the idol, they stalk them, they might
Bloody. Wait, what?
I'll tell you that off stream because I don't want to, I don't know, get whatever Twitch does to you when you do too much. But like, they stalk and harass the idols and follow them, and they're very I don't want to say protective because that sounds positive. Like territorial over their fave, and so it can be very like sick. So they go
Possessive.
overboard. Yeah, possessive. There you go. It can get really, really bad. But yeah. K-pop 101
Wow.
with Jay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
apparently that's what's happening right now.
Yeah. Stalkers, harassers. Yes, they're basically stalkers. Yes. Thank you, Leanne, for summing that. I was like, I don't know how to. Oh, got his orange juice spiked. Was it? Yeah, it was Yeah, there was a K-pop idol who got like was given like I guess a drink from a fan, and it was like, was it glue in it, I think? I think it
What?
was glue. But that also might have been an anti-fan. Was it a saucing or anti-fan? It's hard. It gets really messy. I can walk you through it one day. But yeah, but
Why would they be doing this stuff? What is?
because
How is that gonna? How is that gonna make the person like you? Like, what are you doing?
people do too much sometimes. I don't know. It's a crazy. This is a crazy world. But yeah. So yeah, I think we can kind of see either way. So as eventually though, Koyanagi gets Kubakura to Kubakura to crossplay by buying him a figurine. And so at the tail end of the show, they go out for drinks, and we get to learn when Koyanagi and Kura start dating. So they start dating at the end of high school, and then they kind of get back into fighting because Narumi asks who confessed first, and none of them will like agree to the like admitting they confessed first. So they start fighting, it gets really heated, and then Koyonagi is like, you know what, like, because he starts like calling her ugly hag, they're going back and forth,
Hmm.
and then she's like, yeah, I know that I've never been your type, you like girls that look like Narumi, like the cute and small ones or whatever, which is hella awkward. Like, imagine, that was really, really awkward.
She's like, oh snaps.
Yeah, she's like, moving on. So it was super awkward. And so to try to diffuse the whole situation, Narumi, she says, okay, y'all need to sit down and you each have to say one thing that you like about her. And like a clown, Kabakura, he says, I like that you have big titties or big boobs. So she's like, you I hate you. And she gets really
I'm gonna head
mad.
out.
Yeah, right. She's like, all right, that was your last chance. I'm shutting it
Like,
down.
dang it.
So at first she's really ticked, but then she kind of starts crying and she's like, I guess I'll never be like Ranka, which is a character from Across Frontier, I believe. And she's like a cuter type character, basically like her Narumi. She's smaller and cuter. And so she runs
Yeah.
off. And so it's kind of like awkward. But Narumi runs out to chases out after her, and she's basically, Koyanagi starts breaking down, and is talking about how like all they do is fight all the time, and she's afraid that Kabakura is going to like grow tired of her. And then she says that she wonders if he really likes her or he's just dating her out of convenience because it's hard for somebody who's an otaku to date like a person who's not an otaku. So, it's just like this whole thing's out of convenience. So this is followed up by Kabakura coming out and kind of being like, Narumi, you can head out. And they have like this scene where he's like, you ugly hag. And she's like, oh my God, King. I honestly don't know what he said.
See, but the thing about that, see, this is what I want to talk about here, this episode, because it's like he never really like fixed the issue. He's still
Exactly.
saying ugly hag. Like you tell, it's actually bothering her. That's why she's upset and crying right now. So it's like, bro, what? I don't
Exactly.
understand that.
He's literally like, you're right. I could get a cuter girl that likes otaku who has bigger boobs and is like less annoying than you, ugly. And she's like, thank you, King. And she like runs, and I'm like, maybe that's her love language. I don't know.
I don't know. I was like sitting there like, yo, is this toxic right now? Should I not like this? Like, what are you doing, Kabikora? What is this, sir? Like, you're just saying all the wrong things in this episode here. Like, you're just not good.
I was confused. I was really confused. But, I guess it was like not the words, but it was emotion. And he's one of those, he seems very tsundere. So she was like, oh, okay. And they kind of reconcile. And so we get a beautiful scene. There was one point though I did want to talk about when she was talking about when Koyanagi was talking about how she thinks that Kura is possibly dating her out of convenience, or whatever. There's like this moment where Narumi kind of flashes to Hirotaka and the night that they decided to start dating. And I was like, I wasn't quite sure how to interpret that. Like, I wasn't quite sure what the point they were trying to make there is.
Because
Like,
I
if,
mean, I think what it was that she was thinking maybe she can kind of relate to what that is because is she dating him out of convenience too? Because I mean, think about it. After that whole business transaction, that's the only reason why she decided. So I mean, like is this actually going to be an actual relationship? And that's what makes it even more complicated. But
mm-hmm,
for not just Koyanagi and Kamakura, but for Hirotaka and Narumi as well. Like the relationship might not be as strong. So there's this weird dynamic that's happening now. So probably the reason why I wanted to watch the next episode because I was like, wait a minute, is this not gonna work out? Like I said,
mm-hmm.
is Hirotaka gonna end up dying or something at some point? Like what's about to happen here? Like what's going on? I need to know.
I don't think that he's going to die, but I think maybe that little moment, either is like kind of like foreshadowing of like an issue that's probably going to be like a turning point in the anime, or maybe kind of what you said, they might not end up together when maybe she realizes that she was only doing it out of convenience. Because
Yeah, see,
obviously
I don't want to hear that. See, I don't want to hear that. No, no, they're so good. They're so good though.
it would be
Like
sad.
why?
It'd be really sad. I would hate if it ended up like that. But yeah,
I support healthy relationships. So if it don't work, then it don't work. All right. Look, I just want to throw that out there.
that's true.
Yeah.
And that would be a very mature ending, I think, too, if she's just like, well, we kind of just got together on like a whim. So maybe we're not meant for each other. Okay, Leanne says she was wondering if Hirotaka asked her out of convenience. Oh, okay. So she was wondering if Hirotaka asked her out of convenience, but he reassured her that he generally likes her at the end of the episode. I think it was the
Oh
post
yeah, yeah, there
credits.
was that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
There's a
yeah.
post one. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's true. That's true. They had a little small moment at the end. I totally forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me.
Good point, Leanne. Um, Andy says, I feel like they'd be the type to talk about it alone since Chupacabra is very tsundere. Oh, maybe that's it. He wanted to actually have someone go. Let's just call Chupacabra.
Chupacabra,
I
goddamn
mean,
it.
he's giving Chupacabra tease. I don't know what a Chupacabra is, but he's giving, like, I mean, he's very, I just
You
love a
don't know
good
what it is yet.
tsundere.
He's still a chupacabra. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's giving very tsundere, and unfortunately, I'm whipped for a tsundere person. Like, people, I love that trope or whatever. So it's
Really now?
yeah, I'm gonna be whipped. Like I would love for him to call me an ugly hack. Just kidding. Never. Never. Never take
Excuse me?
disrespect.
Oh wow. Okay.
Never take disrespect. Um again, boycott and file a lawsuit if the show for the show if they don't end up together. We'd be like 3 years too late, but I think we can make it happen. I know a few lawyers.
Hey, we can
Um
still do it. We can still write right now. Let's go. All right, I'm with you.
Yeah, but I thought that was really cute.
Oh man.
But that was a really cute show. One note that I did want to say is that again, with that whole dating out of convenience, do you guys care if your partner is an otaku? Like, is that something you're specifically looking for in a partner? If they are either otaku
Mm,
or I guess their tolerance with that kind of stuff. And for those of you who are guys are into K-pop, that too, like, would that be? I don't know. Is that
interesting.
something important to you?
I mean, I will admit because I'm so heavy into this stuff, it would be nice if the person at least knew about anime. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to like be on the same level as me or anything like that. But if they have interest, it makes it so much easier because then there's so much things we can actually end up doing together too. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I do kind of look for that. I won't lie. I won't lie. So, but
Yeah.
that's me. What about you, actually?
I was thinking about that. Somebody actually asked me this. And for me, I think it's just a matter of like you can like be whatever, like you don't have to be into anime or K-pop, but like don't be disrespectful about it because there's a lot of people who will be like very disrespectful about people's hobbies for whatever reason. And just know that, it's something I like. So I'm gonna be spending a lot of time doing it. And if that's like whether that's watching anime or listening to K-pop and going to concerts and stuff like that. And if that's like something that you don't like mess with, then we can move on. Like I remember I went on this or I was talking to this one guy. And I think for me the where it usually becomes an issue the most is cosplay, and particularly like the type of cosplay I do. I don't do many revealing stuff, but I know that there's been like dudes or people in general who are like, oh, well, I don't care if my partner cosplays, but they're not gonna wear like that revealing stuff, like, you know, that's like that's not for like the internet or whatever. But like I remember I was talking to this one guy and I hadn't told, like we had just been talking, like it wasn't anything like super super deep, but at the time the Spider-Man, one of the Spider-Man movies had just come out, right? And so like it had been trending on Twitter because a lot of people were going, you know, the day that it premiered, and a lot of people were cosplaying, right? And so it was almost like I thought this was like a teen movie or something like that. Because then out of nowhere, he starts sending me like screenshots of these people cosplaying. And he's like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Like, look at these
Oh,
people. Yeah, he was like, this is
what the
like
heck?
so lame. Like, why would you cosplay? And he was just literally like finding screenshots of people posting their cosplay on like, you know, Twitter and stuff, and just like going in. And he was like, what are they in middle school? And granted, I hadn't told him I cosplayed yet or whatever.
Yeah, this
Um,
fool right here.
exactly. I was like, this is like almost a movie. Like what? And he was like, you know, there was a picture of one guy like changing in the like movie stall, like the at the movies, he was changing the stall, and he was like, oh my God, this is sad. Like, why would you like do this? And I was just like, I don't get what's like sad about this. And he was like, you know, these people don't even look good. And then so I didn't even like dignify him with like, you know, dragging him. I just stopped talking to him because I was like, clearly you already told
All
me
right,
how
I'm
you feel
out.
about this. Yeah. And even if he was like, oh, you cosplay, that's cool. I'd be like,
Yeah, I see. Because
no.
now you're just being fake at that point. So get the heck out of here.
Exactly. So I was just like, all right, well,
You,
bloop. Let's hit
yeah,
that
that is
mic.
bad. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I try to say. Like, I'm not, it's not like I'm like looking super hard on it to try to find someone, but at least they can understand that whole thing. That makes
Mm-hmm.
it so much easier. They have to at least have to have some type of knowledge on that front and not just immediately think, oh, you watch anime? But you watching hentai, all right? It's like no, you shouldn't go to that route. Like it should never jump over there all of a sudden.
The way they just immediately, yeah, yeah. Just people who are tolerant, and like I think it's easier if people, if it's somebody who already has some type of like is in some type of fandom culture. So even if that's like not anime, but maybe like comic
Yeah,
books or like video games, them just understanding like this is the thing I'm gonna do, and particularly because we're online content creators, there's gonna be stuff on like line of me like, you know, flipping out because Kyung Soo from EXO shaved his hair, like stuff that you might find silly, you know, but that's me. But
yeah,
yeah,
and that's content, right? What are you talking about? It's reactions right there. Let's go. Yeah.
I'm gonna jump into chat. Leanne says I wouldn't care, but IDK if I would specifically look for that in a person. Andre says, I'm not looking for it, but if they're into my interest or at least understand and support it, then I may shoot my shot. All right. Yeah, it's always nice to like find somebody, you know, you found attractive and, you know, you're vibing with, and it's like, oh, and they like what I like. Okay. Andy says, depends how extreme it is. It'd definitely be nice and something to bond over, but that doesn't have to be a main facet of their character. Okay. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all make good points.
Yeah.
That's
So,
pretty much where I feel like we're all at, really, honestly, because it's not like you need to watch three certain animes, otherwise you cannot. All right, like that'd be freaking weird as heck. Like, what are you doing?
exactly. It's like, calm down. And honestly, though, I actually, like, again, they can be tolerant of it, but I actually would think it's cool if, like, they don't know anything about it and it's something I can like introduce to them, because I do like if I have like a partner that like likes something that I have nothing about. Like I like hearing people talk about things they're passionate about and them opening my interests because they're so different from mine. So
Yeah,
either way, I think it's
you might
fine.
end up running to some more interesting things that you didn't even know you could be interested in too. Like,
Exactly.
guys end up sharing interests in that sense. So,
Exactly.
it's all good.
I agree. Yeah. All right. So that was episode 1 through 5 of Wotakoi. For the last segment of our stream, let's do what are you watching? Or what would you recommend to watch? Break, I'm gonna let you take the floor. What are some cool things you've been watching this week, or any recommendations you have for chat?
All right, then I got one. I don't know how big you guys are on like sports anime, but it's a boxing show. Boxing show, all right? It's not no Hajime Ippo or anything like that. But the show's called Megalobox. Right now, it's currently airing its second season. First season's good, but the second season right now, I don't know. I don't know how they did it because I didn't see this coming. I didn't have any anticipation for it.
Hmm.
The second season is fire. Like this, they're. I didn't expect this to happen. All right. So I want people. I want y'all to catch up and actually watch Megalobox because I feel like more people need to watch that show. Megalobox is actually a good show, and I feel like they need to see this. All right. And what's interesting about Megalobox is that it's not a traditional boxing show, right? They have this competition basically where you have these gears on. So it's like enhancement basically. It allows you to
Hmm.
like punch and block better and all that stuff. So yeah, you have that kind of thing going on there, and you have this outcast dude that wants to be a megaloboxer, but he's having a hard time. He's just some underground dude, some rat guy. He don't even have a name. He doesn't even have a
Rat guy.
name. So pretty much the whole story is of his come up and facing against the champ. So that's what's going on. Like the first season, second season, I'm not even gonna say it because y'all just need to see it because it's a different turn altogether, and I didn't see it coming. But it's a welcoming turn. So I'm hoping it just like the whole season for season 2 ends well because if it does, that show is goat. All right, but I digress. What about you? What about you, Pink? Got
Oh,
anything?
so I actually last week I started watching so Free Iwatobi Swim Club. Actually there's a little story in here. So Iwatobi, I
Mm-hmm.
used to have an anime channel, right? I still do, but I used to be more active on it before I did like my K-pop channel. And so one of my like big blow up moments was when I reacted to the first episode of Free Iwatobi Swim Club back in 2013. It had been it kind of went viral on Tumblr when they released like this like teaser thing before it was like announced as an
Really?
anime. Yeah, because people are like, these guys are so hot. So I reacted to it, and that was like my biggest video for the longest time until I reacted to the second season, and then that became my biggest video. But that was like kind of like the takeoff. I mean, it didn't take off too much, but that was like when I kind of like had a mini blow up. But I really enjoyed the anime. I really thought like it was revolutionary to see fan service of like guys fan service. So I was like, oh, nice. So I was kind of walking down memory lane because although I watched the first and second season, I was a big fan. I kind of fell off after then, and they've had multiple movies and a third season since then, and they have two more. I'm not sure if they're two more seasons or just two more movies coming out. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, let me like restart watching everything that I missed. So I ended up starting from a movie that they released that actually came after I think the first two seasons, where it shows the main cast in middle school. So if you guys don't know what Free Iwatobi Swim Club, it's just called Free. Like each season has like a different like title. So it's like Free Iwatobi Swim Club, Free Eternal Summer, and then like Free Ready Set Go or something like that. And so it's basically about a
That
group of
last one's not right, by the way. But go on.
yeah, I was gonna say it's. I knew that was wrong, like because I haven't watched the third season. I only really know it from the first two seasons. But yeah, so what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so basically it's about like a group of guys who are really passionate about swimming. The swim I want to say it's about four guys, but like depending on what season you watch, like the main characters kind of shift in a way. But yeah, it's a really beautiful like friendship based story, as a lot of sports anime are. And it has a lot of fan service. So if that's what you're into, go ahead. What I find is really funny is that like one of the things that kind of triggered me watching this is that I saw on my Twitter feed somebody was like warning BL, which is boys love, you guys don't know that. And they're like pictures of
Mm?
yeah, pictures of Free, and I was like, Free is not a BL, but
No.
okay. Um, but it was just like, and it
What?
was like just pictures of them hanging out. So yeah, there's like a common misconception that it's a BL. It has a lot of yaoi fangirls in the fandom because obviously hot guys, friendship. But it's not actually, there's no actually like, I mean, there's some points that maybe you could interpret it as like, oh, they love each other or whatever. But like, I don't know. I always took it like a friendship thing or whatever. I guess it's up to your interpretation, but it's not
I mean, I
actually.
kind of took it as that too.
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna run with what they run with. I know like a similar thing with Skate the Infinity. A lot of people feel like it's BL, but it's not explicitly BL, but you can kind of interpret like the relationship between the two main characters is like not explicit. Like I think it's like up to its interpretation. But
Mm.
like there's this one girl who was like, I thought it was BL and it wasn't, so I dropped it. And I was like, dang girl,
Oh, dang.
it's still a good story, huh? But yeah, so I started watching the first movie that, although it came out later after the series chronologically, it's would be the first thing because they're in middle school. And so my goal is to try to rewatch the whole entire series, all the content, and before they have something new coming out in September of 2021. So that's my goal. And it's really
Oh,
good. It's really good. I would say it's really good. It's really beautiful. It's nice to watch during the summer because it's a lot of them swimming, going out, a lot of sunny stuff. And the main characters are so adorable and I love them. And everyone's hot. So that's great.
I actually watched the show for the plot, all right? Like, I was seeing what's going on
Do
there.
I? I seriously do though. I do.
Oh, whoa, whoa!
I really do. Like they're
Y'all here swimming with these men right now, okay?
but it's just so beautiful. Like you have to sometimes I'm just like, okay, they put their foot into that because
I mean, they did a good
oh
job. They
look.
did a good job.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna Oh, okay. I'm gonna jump in the chat to see what everyone else is
Yeah,
watching.
yeah.
Jadella says, I'm watching the first few episodes of the Disastrous Life of Psyche K. One of my faves. A great comedy anime. Um,
Oh,
about a
I'm an
psychic
anime.
teen. Huh?
I'm a comedy anime. What is this?
Oh, it's like, oh, it's really, really good. It's a comedy anime about a psychic teen, who, had these psychic powers since birth, but the thing is, he's very low key. So, like, it's like this kind of idea that, like, he's the main character. He's a very main character looking guy. I mean, he has, like, these glasses, he has bright pink hair, but he could want any,
Oh,
yeah.
wait. I ran into this. I think it's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, I think,
Okay, yeah, okay, that's what that is. All
yeah.
right.
So it's really funny. Like he's very much I don't want any attention. I don't want anyone to talk to me, but it's like you have psychic powers. You literally look like a main character, dude. You're gonna have to accept that you're the main character. So it's like kind of him just like maneuvering that, and it's very funny, very fast paced. I watched it in English, and I really love English dubs, but like I almost had to watch in English because the comedy is so fast paced that like you're gonna have to be pausing just to get like all the little quips and things that everyone's saying. But it's hilarious. All the characters are fools, and it's just great, like in a good way.
All right then. Interesting. We'll have to
um,
check that out.
Oh, Andy says I've been wanting to check out Haikyuu. I haven't. I tried watching that. It didn't really click for me. I'll be honest. Um,
No.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll read the manga because that's like my thing now. If I don't like it as an anime, I try the manga. But I only watched like the
But
first
the
like six.
anime is 1 though. I heard. So I mean, it's pretty up there. Because I'm not gonna lie, like this last season was kind of slow because he only did like 2 games.
Oh,
So
dang.
they're following the manga pretty to a T. So I mean, from what I can tell, anyways, I watched that show. The show's pretty hype. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
Like I don't know. It's it's interesting because I mean I don't know how big are you on sports anime shows, anyways?
I mean, I like a lot of them. Like, I don't. The ones that I've watched, I don't hate. Like, it was just that it was just like I was like I don't know because it was so I don't want to say formulaic because a lot of things are formulaic now, but I just wasn't into the
Yeah.
characters. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't in the right frame of mind either because I think stereotypically it should be something that I'm into, and a lot of people hype it up. A lot of people that I trust in terms of making recommendations and that they know what I like, they recommended it to me, but I think it just was like moving kind of slow, and I just wasn't really interested. But I think maybe if I read
Yeah, I
it,
think I could agree with that, and maybe it could be the first season itself, maybe because it is a little on the slower end, but it picks up quite a bit though, if I'm not mistaken. So,
hmm
like, but the things you have to like the characters. So if you don't like the characters, there's no way you're gonna like the show, man.
I
So,
mean, I think the little redhead boy is cute. Like he's a baby, like he's adorable. He's like very enthusiastic, which I find charming. But I would have to go back
Barbie
and
out, by the way, said Jujutsu Kaisen is good, and actually I should have recommended that honestly. Now I'm thinking about it because that has 24 episodes. That show's amazing. I really like that show. like a lot. I miss the show now because it's not there no more.
Mm.
Like it was my show. I think it came out on Friday, but it was my show. I was looking forward to every freaking week because it was like Mappa put their foot in. Darn it! Like the animation was incredible.
But yeah, I actually started watching that too over the weekend. I watched like I think 5, maybe like 4 episodes, and I like where it's going so far. I like how they're setting it up. I love Yuji. He's really cute, like a baby.
Like a baby.
Yeah.
They're all like a baby to you.
That's because people like there's baby. Ugh, I don't even want to go through this, but yeah, he's adorable. Like I think he's honestly I really like. I haven't watched like I kind of watch shonen like. And I kind of don't, but like those like really like characters that are like I'm gonna do this, like I'm very I used to be like oh so annoying, but like now I'm like it's like really charming now. Like those very like like Yuji's whole thing is like oh he promised his grandma or grandpa he was gonna help people, so that's what's like fueling him. Like before I'd be like oh so corny, but like now I'm like that's such a like wholesome, and I feel like there's a lot of that in like a lot of like shonen, and like I kind of like pushed them by the wayside for the longest time, but like I
Well,
feel
I
like
mean, his motivation is a little different from other shonens because usually what the shonen is all about is always about the actual plot of the show. Like with Naruto, I want to become Okage. Or
yeah.
freaking One Piece, King of the Pirates. Which is why I liked I think Bleach more than out of the big three, because Bleach actually was just about him protecting his goddamn family and his friends because
Hmm.
he got this bullcrap going on around the world in Katakura Town. So like his motivation is a little bit different from like how others are, but a lot of the time with shonen it is just very formulaic in that sense that they have one main goal. Like even
Hmm.
My Hero Academia is a good example of that, where he just wants to be the number one hero. Like it's always kind of going that case
um
for when it comes to Yuji just trying to make sure everybody has a good death. Like he doesn't want people to just be dying on him like that. Like it ain't right. And his freaking grandfather died. That was like his last wish, his last little
hmm.
message to him. So he's like, come on, I can resonate with that. I can feel that.
Hmm. The idea of having ambition in general, like even if it's more
Yeah.
self-motivated versus like he's doing it more selfless, I just like think those themes, and like of course they're not only in shonen, but like you just see them a lot in shonen. Who is it? Black Clover Asta wants to become the
Oh,
wizard
true,
king.
true. Wants to be
It
a Wizard
is
King. Yeah.
like that's why I ignored them for so long, but I think it's like I
Whoa,
was.
whoa, 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 wait, 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 wait. Back. Wait, are you saying Black Clover is not good?
Oh no, I hate Black Clover. It was so boring. I think I watched like
Oh,
a good 20 something episodes, and I was like, uh Asta is annoying. But okay, not okay. I might
no, no,
that
go on. I need to know. No, 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 don't go. Please,
I
please,
thought
please.
Asta was annoying. I thought the whole thing about how, oh, he's not magic. Oh, but he actually is. I was like, they do this all the time. I like, what is it, Yuna? I think he's cool, but he's a yeah, yeah, I think he's cool. Um,
Look,
I just thought that
look.
was boring. But again, I watched it a while ago, so maybe I'll like it. Like maybe his whole
No, no, no.
dreams and
Look here.
stuff.
I understand. I understand how you feel. See, here's the thing. I thought it was trash too when I first started watching it. I only think it's good now because I've been watching it on Toonami weekly. That's the
Ah,
only
okay.
reason I've been watching it. But now I'm actually kind of invested because the show does get good,
Does
but
it?
it takes a bit of time. And that's not that like yeah, you watch 20 episodes, you think it'll get better, but like
Yeah.
Asa's not the greatest character. Like honestly, it's literally the side characters. It's not even It's like it's his other people like Noel and I can't remember the names right now. Freaking Yami, their captain. Like there's a lot of characters, the side characters in general,
Hmm.
Charmy even. Like you can get more invested in that you can actually like than necessarily Asta. Maybe you can probably like him if that's what you like because he is that stoic kind of
That's what
character,
I
kind of
like.
like Sasuke a little bit. So yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So there's things characters to like, but not Asa is a hard one because he's
Yeah.
very annoying in the
Yeah.
beginning stages of the show. And I mean, it's like he's like that for at least a good 30 to 40 episode. And it's like, bro, like you need to calm down with the yelling. Like
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's like those
So I don't blame you.
energetic, yeah. And I feel bad because my brother really likes it, so he was like, "You're just not seeing it how I see it." But yeah, if it's one of those shows where like, oh, just skip what episodes 1 through 100, and then you'll love it. Like I'm like, okay, enough, like enough. We have to
But see, then you're just missing too much. Then at that point,
exactly. Like only watch 34 episodes from here to here and you'll love it. And I'm like, okay, then I'm not even watching a show. I'm watching a commercial basically. But yeah.
the best way, the way you could probably watch it if you want to try to get into it, if you ever wanted to. And this is gonna be
Mm-hmm.
like the sounding right now, right? Just have it on the background.
just turn it on and then go to sleep. Wake up and you've absorbed it and then you know how good it is at that point.
Look, there is a dub for it and everything, and it's good. So it just like you just have it on the background, and just let it talk to you. Let it talk to you, right? Let you feel it, because then you're gonna turn your head like, oh, okay, oh, and you start going into it, and then bada boom, now you're a fan. See? but again, like that it's a hard one to get into. It is a hard one. I don't recommend this show actually.
Oh, first of all, what's up, C-Star? Thanks for coming through. We're just talking about anime we've been watching. Let's see. Some people were talking about Black Clover. Andy says, I've never watched Black Clover, but I remember when it first came out. Oh, my thing keeps
So basically,
freezing.
Naruto and Sasuke. Well, see, that's not the case anymore. Because actually, the funny thing about their characters, their rivalry is so much more healthier than Naruto and Sasuke's. Because Naruto and Sasuke, their rivalry was trash. All right, it was not good. Like these two just trying to literally uplifting each other to try to get themselves to be the freaking Wizard King. That's all it is. They work together. They family. All right. So I actually like the dynamic that they got. That's not the same thing. It initially seemed like that because I said the same thing too when I first saw it. But again, you have to watch a lot and you see how their development is for their characters and all that stuff, and you're like, okay, this is not Naruto and Sasuke, because you would think if it's Naruto and Sasuke, they would be killing each other right now. He would literally power drive the dude neck first into the ground, like how Sasuke did in Naruto, right? So I'm just saying.
Let's see. Just scrolling through. Andre says, I've seen Black Clover on Toonami, but it's one of those shonen where I start but then stop and don't know where I'm at. Oh, I know what you. That's me with My Hero Academia. But yeah.
Oh, dang.
Barbie said, oh my god, the yelling. That's why I dropped Black Clover right away. They're like, Asta is too much.
I mean, it's really hard. Like I dropped it too when I first tried to watch it because I was like, why is he screaming at me all the time?
Enough
Like,
is
he doesn't
enough.
have one line where he's just talking. Like just talk.
Use your inside voice, all right? Let's work on that. Andy said, I'll always be in the mindset that everyone has those big shonen anime they just grow up with. Mine were Naruto and DBZ, and for others, it's My Hero Academia or Black Clover. Yeah, it's cool that like, or it's interesting to see like anime that I would think like our baby anime or whatever. Everyone's like, oh, that was my first anime. Like people saying like My Hero was my first anime. I'm like, oh wow. So there are like recent new like fans that are like getting really into it. Like sometimes I forget because I've just known it existed for so long.
Like, why do you make yourself sound so old? What the heck?
No, because really it's not even that. Like I'm sure if people, well, what is my first anime? I don't even know. I mean, obviously like Pokemon or something like that, but like something that I actually knew was anime, probably Naruto or something. But like there's probably people who hear that and they're like, "Ugh, baby." Like they're like, "Oh, my first one was like something that came out in the 80s." But I'm just like, "Well, that's me."
Mine was Speed Racer.
Get on my level. It's like, okay.
Oh.
I'm like, enough. Enough. Kabakura was right.
God dang it.
Chupacabra was right. All right. Well, I think this would be a nice time to wrap up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. It was nice talking anime with you guys, especially with like the recommendations and things like that people were talking about. But before we wrap up, Break, did you have any last words for the people?
Yes. Well, one, I will be streaming a little bit later, like I did last time. But we're gonna be playing Pummel Party. I'm gonna have my crew, which is my brother Ace, my friend Quetz, and hopefully Grace. I like to try to get 4 people. You're welcome to come through, by the way, Pink. If you want to play, we'll play some Pomo Party. All right. It looks like it's gonna be fun. It's kind of like a Mario Party, basically.
Hmm.
So it's gonna get hectic in there. So I'm looking forward to it. But
Oh.
other than that, hopefully you guys are gonna be doing well. You enjoy the rest of your day, and yeah, watch those animes. All right. Don't lose yourself.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming. See ya. Bye bye.